We often look at James Cameron's Avatar saga as a warning about our future, an ecological parable about where unchecked capitalism might lead us. But what if I told you that the story isn't looking forward, it's looking backward, specifically to the 1st century A.D., to the dusty hills of Judea? Today, we are deconstructing the hidden historical and theological architecture of Avatar, Fire and Ash. We are going to prove that the conflict on Pandora is a direct allegory for the Roman-Jewish wars. In this reading, the humans are the Romans, the Navi are the Jews, and the story presents a complex dual Messiah theology necessary for the survival of a people. The Roman occupation. The parallel begins with the occupier. The RDA, much like the Roman Empire, is an extractionist force. They are not merely explorers. They are conquerors seeking resources, land, and total subjugation of the local population. Their motivation is imperial expansion. As described in The Wars of the Jews, Book 2, Chapter 15:5. So, a terrible battle was fought at the entrance of the temple. While the Romans were forcing their way in order to get possession of that temple, the soldiers also who beat them fell upon those whom they overtook without showing them any mercy, and thrust the multitude through the place. Opposing them are the Navi. Like the ancient Israelites, they are indigenous to the land, defined not by technology, but by a covenant with a singular, all-encompassing deity. In the film, she is Ewa. In the history of Judea, he is Yahweh. The Navi belief system is distinct. They believe Ewa will not allow the occupier to strip them of their land. It is a faith in divine protection against an overwhelming military force. Kiri and the suffering servant central to this resistance is the concept of the Messiah. But the film, mirroring deep biblical theology, splits this role into two distinct figures. First, we have the spiritual Savior, Kiri. Kiri is explicitly identified as a miraculous conception, a virgin birth. From the Avatar of Grace Augustine, she is the child of Ewa. This is a direct typological link to the prophecy of Isaiah 7:14. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the Alma shall conceive and bear a son. Kiri does not fight with guns. Her warfare is intercession. In the film, when all hope is lost, she connects to the Great Mother, who then sends the animals of the land to save the Navi. She also begs Ewa not to forsake them. This mirrors the prayer of Hezekiah, where the king prays for rescue so that the nations will know there is only one God. And the result? Divine intervention. Then the angel of the Lord strikes down the Assyrian camp, as said in Isaiah 37:15-36. And Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, saying, So now, O Lord our God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone are the Lord. And the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. And when people arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. When Kiri cries out, she also echoes the psalmist in Psalm 27:9. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. Do not leave me nor forsake me, O God of my salvation. She represents the Messiah of salvation, the suffering servant, the spiritual conduit who brings God's wrath upon the enemy through purity and prayer. Jake Sully, the warrior king. But prayer alone does not hold back the legions. This brings us to the second figure, Jake Sully. He represents the Messiah ben David, the warrior king. Jake bears the title Toruk Makto. In the Navi lexicon, this is a messianic title, the one who rides the last shadow, the one who unites the tribes. This mirrors the biblical prophecy of the Son of David, the king who unites the scattered tribes of Israel. As Ezekiel 37:24 states, "My servant David shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd." Jake's role is martial as he organizes the insurgency. He teaches them to fight and fulfills the mandate of Psalm 110, to rule in the midst of his enemies and make them his footstool. But there is a crucial, often overlooked detail in their dynamic that cements this allegory. Kiri refers to Jake as her father, acknowledging he is not her biological progenitor, and Jake accepts her as his own. Here, Jake Sully steps into the role of Joseph, the adoptive father of Jesus. Joseph, a descendant of David, legitimizes Jesus' lineage, Matthew 1:16. Just as Joseph protected the infant Messiah from Herod, Jake protects Kiri from the RDA. His paternal care mirrors the distress of Joseph and Mary in Luke 2:48, searching for the child in the temple. Jake is the earthly guardian of the divine spark. The Ash people and the Hellenizers. Now we move to the unique threat in fire and ash, the Manquan, or the Ash people. In our allegory, these are not Romans. They are the Hellenizers. In the history of the Jewish wars, the threats often came from within. Those Jews who wished to adopt Greek and Roman culture, who rejected the strict laws of Yahweh to gain favor with the occupiers. The Ash people reject Ewa. They seek to align with the Sky people, the Romans, Greeks, and betray their kin for power. This recalls 1 Maccabees 1:11. In those days, lawless men came forth from Israel and misled many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the Gentiles around us." The Ash people represent the spiritual danger of assimilation. They have removed the marks of circumcision, metaphorically stripping away their Navi identity, to sell themselves to do evil. They are the cautionary tale of what happens when a people lose their faith in their God to trust in the chariots of their enemies. Conclusion: the necessity of duality. So, what is the ultimate message of Avatar, Fire and Ash? The film posits that survival against an empire like Rome, or the RDA, requires a dual approach. You cannot survive by prayer alone. You need the sword of David, Jake. But you cannot survive by the sword alone, or you become like the Ash people. You need the Spirit of God, Kiri. The movie is a call for us today. It suggests that to resist oppression, we must be both spiritually righteous, but also willing to stand and fight against those who seek our destruction.